A kind of trader you never hear about. You won't find him on social media. He doesn't live stream. He doesn't brag. He doesn't need to. While the world argues over indicators and strategies, he waits, silent, unbothered, almost forgotten. And yet, every year, like clockwork, he places one trade. Just one. Not because he's lazy or scared, but because he sees what others don't. He knows the game isn't about being active, it's about being right. This is the story of patience, detachment, and the quiet billionaire who only makes one trade a year. If you're tired of the noise, you're finally ready to listen. The discipline of doing nothing. There's a moment in every trader's day that feels like nothing. No candle pattern, no signal, just silence. But this silence isn't calm, it's pressure. It's noise with no sound. Your mind starts spinning. Should I check another chart? Did I miss something? You think you're analyzing, but you're just escaping. The truth is, most traders don't lose from mistakes. They lose from constant movement. They chase motion, not mastery. They trade because they're bored, confusing presence with participation. You're not failing because your setup sucks. You're failing because you're unwilling to be still. Take Nick Sleep, co-founder of the Nomad Investment Partnership. His strategy was simple. Find world-class businesses like Costco and Amazon, buy them and hold them. He didn't watch the market tick by tick. He watched quarterly letters and customer metrics. He held these trades for a decade. His edge wasn't speed, it was emotional stillness. When others panicked, Nick waited. He turned long silence into compounding violence. Then there's Stanley Druckenmiller. He once sat on the sidelines for months watching currency markets simmer. He didn't care about daily fluctuations. He waited until everything aligned. In 1992, the Bank of England was exposed, the pound was vulnerable, and Druckenmiller moved with surgical conviction. That one trade netted him $1 billion in a day. He didn't do it because he was smarter, but because he was patient enough to wait for the market to hand him a loaded deck. He waited months to swing once. This isn't about investing versus trading. It's about behavior. It's about what happens in the quiet. Their power wasn't what they did. It was what they resisted. Can you sit in boredom without making a mess? Can you delay the trade until it's so obvious it feels like cheating? Until you can, you're not trading the market, you're trading your insecurity. The boring portfolio that quietly beat the market. You don't just want to win, you want to feel like you're doing something special. You want action, movement, and variety. But the market doesn't care how many trades you take. It only cares how well you manage risk and how long you're willing to wait. When Nick Sleep ran his fund, there were months where it held only 3 companies: Amazon, Costco, and Berkshire Hathaway. No hot biotechs, no meme stocks. He didn't need complexity, he needed quality and time. He believed if you chose the right businesses, your job was to get out of the way and let them compound. While other traders were flipping in and out of setups, Nick's boring portfolio quietly crushed the benchmarks. He wasn't trying to be right today. He was trying to be rich forever. The difference? You chase adrenaline. He chased outcomes. The market loves to reward the one who doesn't need constant reassurance. Most traders diversify their emotions, not their portfolios. They want one stock to moon and another to crash so they can say, "I told you so." It's not strategy, it's fear management. Nick Sleep wasn't afraid. He studied, he understood, and when he found something beautiful, he went deep and sat still. That's not laziness. That's power. Can you handle winning quietly? Can you hold a position for years while everyone else is flipping coins? The greats don't chase turns. They build conviction and patience. The conviction trade that felt like madness. Every trader says they want high conviction setups, but conviction isn't confidence. It's holding the line when everything around you shakes. It's putting your money where your mouth is. For Stanley Druckenmiller, that moment was in 1992. He saw a weakness in the pound that no one else believed existed. While everyone was chasing trend lines, he was tracking capital flows and reading central bank reports. When he finally acted, he placed a trade so big, even George Soros thought he was insane. It wasn't a scalp, it was a declaration, billions against the Bank of England. Be honest, could you really take that trade? Could you watch the market for weeks with no action, then put everything on one idea, knowing the world thinks you're wrong? That's conviction. Druckenmiller didn't feel brave. He felt pressure, responsibility, and fear. But he was prepared. He had done the work when no one was watching. He had earned the right to size up when it counted. He didn't guess. He obsessed. And when the moment came, he moved with all his weight because hesitation is expensive. The emotional cost of patience. The charts are quiet. Your setup hasn't formed. There's nothing to do. So why do you feel anxious? This is the price of patience, the mental weight of watching others move while you stand still. While you're on the sidelines, other traders post wins and the FOMO starts whispering, what if you're missing it? When Nick Sleep held Amazon through years of volatility, analysts mocked him and investors pressured him. He ignored them all because he was anchored to his understanding of the business, not the price. Patience wasn't passive, it was principled. He still had to wake up every day, see red, and do nothing. That's a discipline most traders will never train. Druckenmiller openly talked about how hard it was to not trade. He had to sit for months watching junior traders make winners, feeling the pressure to perform, but still choosing patience. The worst mistake is forcing a trade just to feel useful. Patience isn't some Zen-like peace. It's lonely, boring, and brutal. But that emotional pain you feel in the quiet, that's the work. Most traders break down in that silence, but Nick Sleep didn't. Druckenmiller didn't. They held on long enough for the world to catch up to their clarity. The day you don't react is the day everything changes. There's a moment when you feel a trade coming. You hover the mouse, your finger twitching, but something feels off. You pause, you breathe, and instead of reacting, you wait. That pause is the beginning of real power. Until now, your trades were habits. Now, they're choices. After a major loss in 2000, Druckenmiller didn't spiral into revenge trading. He shut it down, took a break, and regathered his edge. He understood that when you're off, you need to get off the field. Not reacting saved his career. In 2008, while markets were collapsing, Nick Sleep held Amazon. The stock tanked, clients panicked, but Nick didn't flinch. He revisited his thesis, confirmed the fundamentals, and did the unthinkable. He bought more. He trusted his process more than he feared the panic. He didn't react. He re-anchored. Every time you react to price or fear, you sacrifice precision. You shrink from a strategist to a stimulus seeker. But when you pause, you break that loop. You become dangerous in a new way because now the market doesn't control you. The day you don't chase that half-baked breakout, you grow. The day you close the screen when you're emotionally spun out, you evolve. That's when you cross over. No one claps, no P&L spikes, but your nervous system feels it. And your future self will look back and know that was the day everything began to change. The one trade that changes everything. You thought this video would tell you what stock to buy or what candle to trust. But none of that matters if the person placing the trade is still fragile, frantic, and chasing. The trade that changes everything isn't on the screen. It's the trade you make between who you are and who you have to become to actually win. Nick Sleep chose simplicity over complexity, clarity over noise, and long-term thinking over applause. That was his one great trade, his identity. It was walking away from temptation and distraction. He built a career on moments of perfect restraint. Druckenmiller placed billions behind his ideas only when he was aligned inside, with no hesitation. He traded like someone who didn't need to be a genius. The trade that changes everything isn't the lucky reversal or the breakout that hits 20R. It's the moment you say, I'm not chasing anymore. I'm not doing this to feel alive. It's the moment you choose patience over panic, focus over frenzy, and truth over tactics, and you never go back. Most traders spend years searching for edges and indicators, hoping the market will give them something they haven't yet found in themselves. But the few who make it realize the truth, you don't need more trades, you need fewer doubts. You don't need more tools, you need more clarity. And the market doesn't care how many hours you've studied, it only responds when you do. So if this clicked for you, don't rush back into the charts. Sit with it, because when the next setup comes, you'll feel it differently. And you'll act from a place most traders never reach.